To jump on, man. What a surprise. We definitely appreciate it. And I guess we'll start off by saying we thank you for deciding to change things and make your fights accessible as subscribers, because yeah, man, that is a step in the right direction. I love everything that you're doing in terms of Riad season and the Ring magazine. Obviously, I have my own ideas about some of those fights, but I love everything that you're doing, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. About you asking about the pay-per-view situation.
Yes.
What do you think about it?
Well, obviously we love it, man. We love it. It's better to pay the $30 a month subscription fee and actually get value out of that $30. So yeah, we're definitely happy that Riad season pay-per-views and Ring magazine pay-per-views will be part of the subscription now moving forward.
This is not only like this. First of all, it's maybe you can have it cheaper than the $30. It will be maybe two options, one with commercial and one without commercial. With the commercial, it will be $30, maybe something like this, 4K, having behind the scene, having extra things, and with commercial, something with $9 or $10, something like this. And it is not only Riad season and the Ring cards. I will try to convince them anything inside the zone be with the subscriber. I want to ask you questions. What is the useful to subscribe? Then I pay, if I am normal people, normal man in my home, what is the useful of subscribe? Then you make me pay 10 to 15 pay-per-view with $90 and $80. What is the useful of my subscribe? Right?
There is no use for the subscription.
Right. Okay, if you pay something like McDonald's meal or coffee in Starbucks and getting all the fights you want for free, is this better or not?
Absolutely. 100%. To get all the fights I want for free, that's what I want.
Yeah, and second, the zone have a base of 20 million subscribers, right? Why we only have from the zone? There is wrong information. You say that in the program. We have in our subscribe between 1 to 1.5 million in the big fight, similar to Tyson Fury, Ozix, like this fight. But the average of the normal card is around 300,000 to 400,000.
Yes.
How I get only 300 or 400,000 and the fan base is 20 million in the zone? That means a lot of people doesn't like to pay extra to get the card, right?
Correct.
And this is bad for boxing, right?
Yes.
I heard from one of the guests you have before that, maybe he's losing his money. First of all, it's not my money. It is business, man. And second, we are doing this for big vision and to put our country in the map of MMA and a lot of things. We are not doing something for free. That means, okay, we will give the card for free, but that doesn't mean we don't charge the zone. This is between us and the zone. You understand me?
Yep.
If we build the base of the zone, this idea is to try these models for 1 year in the zone and see the effect. If the people like it, we will complete and do it more and more. And when people saying about BBC and Al Hayman, first of all, we do a lot of business with them now. Have the update. All their fighters is with us and our card. We don't
Okay.
have any enemy in boxing.
Wait, Turkey,
All the fighters
Turkey.
we have.
Hold
Yeah.
on, Turkey. Did you
Yeah.
did you send Tank the 4 Ferraris? Did Tank get the 4 Ferraris? Because we
No.
need Tank. We need Shakur.
No, I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
And I will say it again. He will have his contracts and 2 gloves. If he want to buy from his contracts the Ferrari, do it by himself. We are paying for sometimes for some people more than for the Ferrari for fights.
So we see that
Let's be honest. I want to tell you something. The only conditions, the only things Riyadh season will ask you if you have balls to have big fight. Any fighters, I will not give you tune-up fight. This is what damage boxing. I will try to do number one against number 2. If you cannot have number 1 against number 2, I will have number 1 against number 3. And like this. I want to tell you something. The last card, the ring in New York, the first time in the stadium, and the people all the time, all around the place like it. For the first time in the tennis yard. Second, it was card 4 fights, 50-50. You cannot know the result until the end, right? Except Shiraz and Berlanga. And this is the people what they like. We are, and that night, we are trending number 1 in the world. And in the same time, there is big cards in UFC and big cards in WWE. And we are number 1 in that night. And the people like it, okay? This is what we want to do. And second, now, with my friends and my people in the ring, we will start show, we'll name it The Underdog in Vegas. It will be... it will be one each month. It's all the card about the talent and discovering fighters. And when they success, they can go to the league with TKO or go in Riyadh season cards. We want all the fighters around the world have a chance to be stopped. And when we do the sparring in New York, we got 2,000 people. We got around 200 fighters. Some of them came from Japan and Scotland, and we announced it before it 1 week. I announced they will be in the undercard of Canelo Crawford. And imagine what, 2 of them now in the undercard for Canelo Crawford, from the street to the biggest fight in one step in the undercard of the biggest cup.
All right, there is the Boxing Voice hosting Turki Alashikh. He came on the show. Shout out to Ness and the Boxing Voice and Turki Alashikh for showing up. I want to cover the first to the last. First off, the pay-per-view idea to take away pay-per-view is a good thing. It is a good thing. It's not for free. I think people need to, stop that wording. It's not free. It's, you pay a subscription, therefore you get whatever's on the platform. Period. Simple. It's not, oh, well, man, it's free. No, you pay for it. We've been paying for the shit. I've been paying for DAZN since it started in the USA. And I've been paying for DAZN as one of the people that, to my knowledge, to my recollection, it was designed intentionally to abolish pay-per-view. Pay-per-view was supposed to be answered with DAZN. So all the PBC, all the ESPN, all the Golden Boy, and really Golden Boy came along as well. So you had Matchroom, then Golden Boy. All of this started simply based on the fact, Sky Sports, that it's supposed to replace pay-per-view. So if anybody should be angry, it's me and the millions of other people that thought, hey, this is the Netflix answer to Blockbuster, and Netflix is around to this day, and it's going to be around for a very long time. Why? Because streaming is the way of the future. Subscriptions is the way to go, because you don't have time to be paying extra on top of something that you're paying for. If you're paying for it constantly, why would you pay extra on top of the constantly? To me, it's double dipping. I don't think that that's the way that we supposed to go. I never thought that. And so when Canelo did join DAZN and he did start his whole campaign for everybody can watch it free in Mexico, but make everybody else pay your bullshit fights. Because let's face it, a lot of Canelo's fights after he got the undisputed crown, they were mediocre fights. And then he started, and then obviously other people started to come about, and then we start getting bullshit like Belonga versus Shiraz. Now, I think what happened, Turki Alashikh realized that, look, if we're trending number one now, imagine what we could do or constantly keep doing if we take this pay-per-view away and this extra fee away, because that's all it is. So you guys are double dipping trying to make more money, but you're finding out that people don't like to pay that shit. Who wants to pay that? DAZN wasn't designed to pay that. So why are you trying to bend the rules for certain fighters? So if certain fighters getting paid what they're supposed to get paid, that should be enough for those fighters. Okay, so I'm glad Turki Alashikh is seeing the light, because he's really seeing the numbers or the lack of. That's all that's happening. But anybody that knows anything about business should have saw that shit coming from a long way away. Again, I always compare it to Blockbuster, because Blockbuster was a conglomerate company. It had stores everywhere. And I'm from a small town. I'm from probably the third largest city in Louisiana, you know what I mean? And, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Shreveport. And even with Shreveport, you had about 5 locations in Shreveport, Bossier. And that should tell you how big they were, compared to Dallas and Miami and bigger places, Chicago. So, yeah, it was once upon a time huge, but their model, they were just trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip with late fees and other bullshit where, someone had an idea like, hey, listen, let's do something different for the people. You know what I mean? But of course, that old model that's accustomed to a certain amount of money coming in will not adapt because of the greed mindset. And that's what happened. They went out of business because they didn't want to adapt, okay, to new ideas and revolutionary changes. So it is what it is. Also, the question that was asked by one of the hosts, did you give Turki 4 Lamborghinis and shit like that? Like, Turki Alashikh responded very well. Let me tell you something. Right? You pay for the gloves and the contracts. That's all you're getting. Then from that, you can get whatever the hell you want to, because we pay you enough. And the way he said it, I think, sometimes that we pay you more than 4 Ferraris. How about let's try all the time? Because Ferraris, how much is a Ferrari? 300,000? If you buy 4 of them, that's about $1 million. He pays a lot more than an M. These guys get M's, plural. When they step on the Ring Magazine Riad season platform, they're getting paid. They're becoming millionaires. But like Turki said, you're getting number 1 against number 2 or number 1 against number 3 and so forth. I like that idea. That's why, if you noticed, if you notice the increase of fighters getting their ass whooped now. Why? Because there's no longer number 1 fighting number 28, number 1 fighting number 17, the 5th in the world fighting number 48 in the world. You know what I mean? There's no more of that, mix match shit. Mix and match and hey, throw this guy in there, let the fight build, let this get bigger. Like, it's nothing bigger than what's big right now because people want to see it right now. We don't want to see it 5 years from now. We want to see it right now. We don't want to see it 2 years from now. We want to see that shit in 5 months, 4 months. Let those guys get arrested, then training camp, then press conferences, then fight. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see shit like, oh, hey, let's let a fight build between, these two guys, Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. And, once these guys get big enough, then we can no. Because then guess what? Like normally what happens? Those fighters get beat or injured, right? Or getting wrecks and shit like that. Unforeseen things that we don't see. And the fight never happens. Turki Alashikh is changing that. He's like, no, how about let's do that right now? How about in November we get Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? Or better yet, it's already July. It's the middle of July. In fact, it's coming to the end part of July. So let's schedule a fight in February against Fury versus Joshua, the two former kings. And then the winner fights Wilder or something. Anything like that that makes sense, that people still half-ass want to see or definitely want to see. So shout out to Turki Alashikh coming aboard. I'm glad that he was able to answer a lot of questions with this particular interview. I know this is lengthy, but I had to listen to what he had to say because I didn't hear that part before. If you like, I can carry on for the next few minutes to see what else he comes out with. If you like it, cool. If not, okay. But let's continue.
In one step, in the undercard of the biggest card in the last 10 years. This is what we are doing for boxing. I am not a promoter, but my brother. I don't calculate it. I don't calculate it 1 + 1, 2. We calculate it different.
Okay. One question, Turki. You have the Mexican Monster coming in November, and that is the Mexican Monster. And you have possibly the top Mexican boxer of all time in Saul Canelo Alvarez. Can Canelo get to 300 million so we can run a squabble with David? We need David Benavidez versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. You have both of them. Is that in the making?
I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
First of all, we are now planning for both of them strong plan. For Canelo, there is in the table Shiraz, there is Mobili the French, there is a lot of fighters, okay? And for Benavidez, there is Artur, there is Bivol, there is maybe Obotaya. What I can say to you, I will try hard to extend the contract with Canelo for 3-4 fights more. And I will try hard to have chance to convince him sometimes in 20, maybe 7 to fight Benavidez. And now in his plan, in 26, there is 3-4 options and we agree to it. Maybe in the future I can convince him. I want to see this fight. Similar to you, I want to see it.
I am glad that we heard the rest of that, and I am going to counter with this. I love that idea, but you have to understand that Turki Alashikh, with the way he explained it, like, I will try hard to push that idea. I will try hard with that idea for David Benavidez and Canelo because I want to see that fight and see what happens with this is it shows you that Turki Alashikh, yeah, he calls the shots, but he doesn't and he cannot make a fighter fight a fight that he doesn't want to fight. See, he has to, like he said, he'll try hard. He'll try to convince Canelo to fight David Benavidez, but at the end of the day, he said in 2027. But do you understand why he said that? He said that because, for one, we don't know where these fighters are going to be in 2 years or even next year. That Yard versus Benavidez fight, that's going to be a fight. That's not going to be a fight where David Benavidez, labeled the Mexican Monster by Mike Tyson at 168 will be the same outcome. Because if you notice the Volsniks and the fights, the Morels, those fights didn't end in knockouts. That ain't Mexican Monster outcomes. Those are fights. This is a fighter that's very good, that's learning, that's quick, that's fast, that's exciting, like David Benavidez is showing you how the difficult transition is to go from 168 to 175. There is a difference. He's not doing the same thing at 168 versus 175. 175, he's getting it in. He's battling these dudes. He ain't necessarily conquering them. He's beating them. But he ain't doing like he did at 168. But that's what happens when you go from 168 to 175. Because in actuality, you're really going from 175 to 180. You're fighting cruiserweights. Okay? Super middleweights are actually fighting at light heavy. Light heavy is actually fighting at cruiser because of the rehydration factor, because of the walking around weight versus the actual fight weight. So once that rehydration comes about, that's why certain fighters, Canelo and Tank Davis and people like that, they have those rehydration clause limits simply based off the fact that they know that the increase of weight is a factor because you balloon up. So yeah, David Benavidez, I'm saying all that to say this about David fighting those guys that are there. I'm talking about the undisputed champion, Dmitry Bivol, or the former undisputed champion, Artur Beterbiev, as you heard him mention, Beterbiev as well, or Jaya Pataya. There's many other battles that could take place besides David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez that David may not conquer or may not get through or get past. There's no guarantee that David's going to beat Dmitry Bivol. In fact, he might get his ass whooped by both of those guys in hellified wars. Not saying that, look, David Benavidez is one hell of a fighter. I like to see David fight. I am not hating on David Benavidez. But I know something that dawned on me with David. David can be hurt at 175. And shit, if you're talking about fighting the best there, you're talking about Dmitry Bivol. Who the hell? Dmitry Bivol, or you're talking about fighting Artur. Artur Beterbiev can hurt you, hit you, run right over you. The only thing that would help David in that fight would be the age gap, or be that reality that Artur straight gets old that night. But if this dude, the way he lives, he eats clean, he don't drink, he sleeps, he's a family man. Look, if you got that type of dude that's coming at you that only has one loss, and the one loss is coming to Dmitry Bivol that has one loss, and the one loss coming from Dmitry Bivol has been from Artur Beterbiev, I'd be damned someone that's going to come from 168 is going to have an easy time with any of those dudes, if not beat those dudes. Okay? So there is no guarantee that David, with the selection that he has, because that's a tough road to walk down. So yeah. So him talking about Canelo Alvarez, sure, he has Siraj and guys like that, and I feel that he does have, a lighter, road to climb, but he may get beat by Terrence Crawford. So if you think if you think he beats Canelo, you think Canelo will be worried about David Benavidez? Oh, hell no. He's going to be wanting to go right back in there with Terrence Crawford. That's it. I mean, Terrence Crawford, if he beats Canelo Alvarez, there's going to be two fights. Because there's no way Canelo is going to walk away knowing that Terrence Crawford beat him on paper. Okay? So the idea of Canelo versus David Benavidez, we got to see it. To me, it only makes sense if they're in the same weight class. But again, you know, David Benavidez, based on everything I explained, has a tougher road. He has to redeem himself. He has to show that he is worthy at 175, because he ain't just fighting guys like David Morrell or guys like Vosnik that was a champion. He has to actually fight the guys that are former champions or the current champions, let alone Jaya Pataya. Jaya Pataya is an absolute beast at a whole different weight class. So if he's thinking about going up to cruiserweight to fight Jaya Pataya, that's a hard fight as well. But you guys tell me what you think of Turki Alashikh joining the Boxing Voice and the counterpunch thereof. Of course, please subscribe, like, and share. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!